All right, hello and welcome again. Today is a review day. The things you'll need are just your iPad, your math notebook, and a pencil. And here we go. So remember that as you go through your notebook, and I'd like you to have that open because a lot of this will be review, please mark that upper corner with an R and circle it so that you have reviewed that page. Title for today is just review, and our learning target is today you'll work to have a better understanding of what we have learned in the last two chapters or the last two sections. Okay, so here's our first thing, transversal. So a transversal is just a line that cuts two parallel lines. So here we have two parallel lines, and then the line running up and down here is that transversal. Okay, so here again, if we're given this object and we're asked to identify things, we can see right here that these lines are parallel because they have those little triangles right there, and then this is our transversal. We have eight angles that are formed. We have 4 that are exterior on the outside, so that's 1, 5, 4, and 8, and 4 that are interior in are 2, 6, 3, and 7. So there you go with that. So corresponding angles. Now I think that this is a little tricky, and really it's just those angles that are the same measure, so they're corresponding. They correspond to one another. And they are the same, and we can remember that because right here is the complement, or excuse me, the supplement. So together that equals 180. So this cannot be corresponding with that. They have to be different angles, and so then that would be this right here would correspond with that down there. All right, let me show you that in a better way. So can you name all the angles that are corresponding to one another? So what I did is I took and drew this figure, and then I also highlighted in 2 different colors the angles that correspond to one another. So that's what I want you to do in your notebook, in your review, is I want you to draw this 2 parallel lines, use the lines on the paper, you draw your transversal, number 1 through 8, and then highlight in 2 different colors with pencil, crayon, marker, pen and pencil, if that's the best you can do, all of the angles that correspond to one another, meaning they're the same. Okay? All right, so go ahead and pause the video, do that work, and I'll see you on the next slide. Okay, so here are the angles. Now, the cool thing that I see here is these make like little V's. Obviously, they're angles, okay? But they're pointing to each other vertically. V for vertical. And remember that vertical angles are equal to one another, okay? And that 2 and 4 are supplementary to one another. They equal 180 degrees. 1 and 3 are supplementary, but 1 and 3 do not correspond. 1 and 3 are supplementary. 3 and 2, because they're vertical from one another, they are congruent. And remember, congruent is that word that means equal. Okay. Let's keep moving. So supplementary angles. Supplementary angle, just remember that that's 2 angles whose sum is 180. And then I think this next piece is new. I don't know if we covered this, so I put our add to notebook. Complementary angles. So complementary are, it's when we have 90-degree angle, okay, and we have 2 angles within that 90 degrees, those angles are what are called complementary, okay? And they can really be any numbers. They'll equal 90 together. So supplementary is 180 together, and 90, they're complement of one another. They complement each other. They complementary. To complement is the right thing to do. So to complement is the right thing to do. That's the right angle. That's one way to memorize that. Another one is this. For supplementary, if we draw the S in supplementary, and then we kind of, since supplementary angles are equal to 180, turn that S into an 8, okay? And then add that 1 and the 8. That S becomes 180, if you see it there. That's one way to remember supplementary, 180. Complementary, we can take that C and turn it into a 9, and then put that 0, 90 degrees. Okay, so that's another one. To complement is the right thing to do. Complementary angles, right, work off of a right angle. So they're going to be two angles that equal 90. All right, you remember whatever works best for you. All of that is fine for me. Vertical angles, we talked about this. They're opposites. We've heard that phrase, opposites attract. Okay, these are kind of opposite, or they're vertical from one another. However you want to think about that to remember that. I liked those V's are pointing at each other. Okay, so Y, that V right there is pointing to the V right here of this Y. All right. Congruent just means same. It does not have to be same size. As we talked about this one before, these are very different lengths. Okay, but we can see when we line up those angles, regardless, they both equal 45. Okay. Interior versus exterior. Interior, remember, interior, inside the house. These are interior angles right here because they are in. Okay, exterior angles. Exterior, exoskeleton of a insect. The exoskeleton, the exterior, that's on the outside. Okay, so exoskeleton then would mean the skeleton or that skeletal structure is on the outside. That's why when we step on bugs, they crunch and crackle. Sorry, that's a little gross. All right, so the exterior angles here would be 1, 5, 4, and 8. They're on the outside of the parallel lines, the exterior. Okay? All right, obtuse. Obtuse is an angle that is just greater. Obtuse like moose. Just remember that. And then an angle that is less than 90 degrees is a cute little angle. And then 90, right at 90, that is a right angle. Okay, and it makes a right turn. So if we're coming along here, we make a right turn, that's a right angle. Okay, so at a lot of intersections, we see that 90 degree of measures. Not all, but some. All right, moving on. So how do we find the value of X? So these are exterior angles, so we set them equal to 180. And you can pause this and look at the math. Over here, this one's a little more complicated because it's got X and then the quantity of X minus 35 degrees. And then it's got 43 degrees over here. So we need to set that all equal to 180. We set it equal to 180 because we know that a triangle equals 180 degrees. And I need you to take that into lesson 3.3 with me tomorrow. So make sure you have that. All right, moving on. Now, how do we find the measure of the exterior angle? Okay. I hope I said this right back here. These are interior angles. If I said that wrong, I apologize. Interior, inside. Okay. I hope I said that right. All right. So we want to find the measure of the exterior angle. The exterior angle is on the outside. If you remember doing this work, it looked like this. And this is different. Here we're setting it to 180 because the interior angles equal 180. Here we're going to set that equal to this. Okay, so X then is just equal to 36 plus 72. X is 108. Okay, here we're going to set 2A is equal to 80 and the quantity of A minus 5. So this is how that all works out, and A is equal to 75. And so the measure then of 2A is 2 times 75, so that exterior angle is 150, which if we just look at it, that's an obtuse angle, so we know it's greater than 90, okay? And we know that this angle here is less than 90. It's an acute angle, and so that starts to make sense. And if you really think about it, these angles then are supplementary to one another. If they're supplementary and this one is at 150, this angle right here is at, that's right, it's at 30 degrees, okay? So that 30 degree measure and this over here at 150, those then make that supplement, 180 degrees together. All right. So let's move on to our next piece, which is just our homework for today. And review, this is going to be that review of 3.1 and 3.2. I don't think this is going to take you a long time, but I really want you to have this information solid so that as we go forward from here, as we're looking at finding the interior angle sum and using that interior angle sum to then find the angle degree measurement of any one angle, I need you to have this stuff really solid. All right. Have a great time doing this. Remember, you can reach out and contact me at any time through email or through my Google Voice number. So if you need anything at all, just let me know, and I hope that you are very successful with this. Thanks. Bye.